Hey, good evening. Glad for anybody that's joining us. Facebook, via YouTube, via Periscope. Tonight we are having our off-season football wrap-up show. We have Anthony and we have brother Walker here joining us, as well as we're gonna have our recurring guests Halim and Dwayne. They should both be here shortly. Just a little bit of when life goes on, everything else has to proceed as well. So hopefully they'll join us shortly. Dwayne may even call in. I have a calling number. Dwayne could call in too. So at last, the NFL has commenced with its 2020 NFL draft, as well as some offseason moves, as well as offseason moves that may happen after our broadcast. So we're gonna proceed with our show with the offseason moves with starting with the Bengals. The Bengals was the first team to pick in the draft, and we know who they got. They got the quarterback, and in other rounds, they got Huggins and a couple other good players as well. Um, Brother Walker, how would you grade the Bengals off season so far?
I think the Bengals did a good job. First of all, they wanted to get a franchise quarterback. Um, I think that was the most important thing they looked at. They got Joe Burrow. That was the consensus number one pick. So um, they also got T. Higgins, a wide receiver as well. They're trying to build for the future also as well because AJ Green. That he's still going to be there, but I don't know how much longer he's going to be there for. They also got a linebacker out of Wyoming to build up the second part of their second line of their defense. They got another linebacker out of Appalachian State, a defensive end, offensive guard, and another linebacker. So they focused in on the linebacker position, and they focused in on the offensive line, and then they got a quarterback, wide receiver, and they got a defensive end. So they did a good job addressing needs that for their future. So I think they did a great job. So I'll give them a B plus. I think they did a good job.
Mr. Outlaw, how do you feel about the Bengals? What do you think going forward? Still the worst team in the NFL.
Well, for now, but I think they're creating a solid foundation. Like you get a player like Andy, you got a player like Andy Dalton that for the most part, to me he was the kind of an Alex Smith sort of like he was okay and adequate, but now you get to replace him with a potential legit franchise quarterback in Burrow. I like Burrow, man. Like he may have been a 1 year wonder or whatever, but I like what he did in that 1 year. He completely dominated in a pro style offense. Then you got Joe Mixon there, young running back coming off 1,000-yard season. AJ Green is still there, and then you add T Higgins, and you got something. You got a solid. You got what looks like a solid little offensive core there, and like Craig said, they did load up on linebackers, so I guess that was a need and a focal point for them. So they've got a good foundation. They still got a ways to go, especially on the defensive end. Maybe on offense need to get a few more linemen, but outside of that, I think they got a solid base. I just really I like that T Higgins pick, man. I think he dropped because he ran a 4.5, but the kid is still 6'4", 215. You can't really teach size, man. So now they got two receivers in their starting unit that are over 6'3" in Green and Higgins. So they might be able to do something there.
I agree. I also like the pick of the linebacker from Wyoming. He seems very athletic. Somebody that probably is going to be the middle signal caller. I think that's a foundation they want to build on. Then they got a linebacker out of Appalachian State. So I think I think they're going to be all right. I think they did a good solid draft this time, and I really think the future's bright for them because they have a young coach too as well.
Yeah, that Wyoming linebacker. Yeah, he's pretty good. I saw him in a few games. I got lucky to watch him in a few games, and he looks like he could be a starter. He could
Right.
eventually be a starter. So
Brother
they
Morris.
did some good things.
Brother Morris, I can hear you on the line, sir. I was listening while we got you on the line. They probably won't be able to hear you, but I can hear you, sir. Long as I can hear you, I can relay your message to the people that are watching in the audience. We're on the Bengals still as we continued. How do you feel about the draft, sir?
like that fifth round pick, the Khalid Kareem.
You like the fifth round pick?
I like the fifth round pick from Notre Dame, the edge rusher.
Okay, the edge rusher from Notre Dame. Yeah, I should have set my speaker up so maybe they would have been able to hear you. I mean, because my phone is kind of low, so you have to excuse me for one second. I'm gonna try to raise the volume up so maybe they could be able to hear you, Brother Morris. Hold up. Yeah, you can hear me, Brother Morris. Okay, they probably can't hear you. So how do you rate the Bengals draft, Brother Morris, from A to F? Where do you think this franchise is going?
I think overall you have to give the Bengals an A because they got their franchise quarterback.
Mm.
Y'all can hear him?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can.
we can hear him.
Oh, these guys can hear you, Brother Morris.
We can hear you.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Brother Morris.
I would rank them as an A. I like that they got their franchise quarterback. T. Higgins is a decent outside threat at wide receiver. Logan Wilson would be a decent linebacker in the middle. The kid from Appalachian State, he had an injury, and that's the reason he fell to the fourth round because he has a hole in his knee that needs to be repaired. And again, I really like the Khalid Kareem pick.
Okay. So Brother Morris is going to grade them as an A. I'm a grade them as an A steady. I personally think the Bengals as a franchise they just need to stay in one accord for the next 4 or 5 years and say which direction they're gonna go. Obviously they got very talented, skilled players. Now going into next year is to try to establish a winning culture and then start building the lines. Get their lines up, maybe start getting rid of guys like Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap because they're a little long in the tooth. Even if they got to trade them guys for assets in the future, they should start unloading them guys now because
Yeah,
they need to start rebuilding because even with the great AJ Green, you want to have some players there with the young quarterback, but that's why you drafted T. Huggins. So now it may be time that they start realizing trading some of these assets, trading some of these good players that they do have as assets. Because I know Geno Atkins, Dunlap, and Green could get them at least 4 or 5 picks alone with those players. We talking about at least second rounders for at least AJ Green. Given his health, he probably would be worth the first rounder, but given his health issues, he's definitely worth the second rounder. So the next team we're gonna try to get through is the Washington Redskins. They drafted Chase Young and a bunch of other players. Mr. Brother Morris, I'm gonna let you go first with them. You heard me, Wayne? He's still going through technical difficulties, folks. Even the phone is jacked up right now. But Mr. Outlook, you could do the Redskins first if you don't mind.
Okay, so of course the Redskins they had the no-brainer pick and Chase Young. That basically gives them a tandem. It gives them a fearsome tandem for what I'm thinking because I forgot the boy's name from last year. What was his name? Oh man,
Cool. Montez Sweat.
Montez Sweat. So you got Chase Young on one side, you got Montez Sweat on the other side, you know, that's gonna be a problem for a lot of quarterbacks in that league. You know, you got Montez Sweat on one side running a 4.48, and then you got a beast in Chase Young at 6'5", 264, man. And you know, as a 49ers fan, we have Bosa, and I think Chase Young is a better version of him, just more athletic, you know, strong. I also like who they picked up in round 3, man. Antonio Gibson, running back, wide receiver out of Memphis. You know, about 6 foot 225. You know, he's as good as a running back as he is a wide receiver. So, you know, that's gonna help out Haskins a lot because with his development, because right now they pretty much have Terry McLaurin. They got rid of Chris Thompson. Well, Chris Thompson left in free agency. I also like a fourth round pick that they had, and Antonio Gandy Golden out of Liberty, man. 6'4" wideout, you know, jump ball guy, you know. I think he's really, 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 really underrated, man. And so I think they, you know, spent some time putting some weapons around Haskins, which means they're ready. They're invested with him in the future, and they want to see his development. So I like what they did. So I'm gonna give them an A just on the fact that Chase Young pick, and um, I'm sorry, Gibson and Golden. And I also like their round 4 pick, Sadiq Charles out of LSU. I would definitely give them a athletic tackle, that could play the right or the left side. So I like
So
what they
before
did. I give them
give him an A. So before we introduce our guest who was just on the phone, uh, let me just let the audience know that this was probably driving Mr. Morris crazy because anybody that knows him is 3 things you don't mess with. You don't mess with his faith, you don't mess with his family, and you definitely don't mess with his football. So right now it was driving him crazy, not
Nuts.
being able to get the connection through. So Mr. Morris, because you have on the burgundy representing the union, we're gonna let you come in and grade before Brother Walker on the Redskins.
All right. Well, and my apologies for the little technical difficulties, but I'm glad to be back. I got to do it from my phone, not my tablet. But for the Redskins, I give them a C, a solid C. I like the Chase Young pick. I think they've reached a little bit with the kid from Memphis. I know they said they're going to use him a lot of different ways, but I think there was some other quality running backs there that they could have picked at that point. The kid from LSU, he's a big offensive tackle. You know, we don't really know who he is because he got in a lot of trouble at LSU, a lot of suspensions. So he wasn't on the field as much as maybe he should have been. Um, my favorite player, is I like Khalid Hudson, and that's the Michigan connection and seeing him his whole career. I think he's very solid. The reason he dropped in the draft is you don't know if he's a safety or a linebacker, but I think he can play linebacker at the next level. But I think overall, I would give the Redskins a C grade.
I see somebody in the chat talking about too many Cowboy fans on the panel. Well, some of us Cowboy fans that's on the panel, we appreciate you tuning in. I can't tell who you are, but we appreciate that. Some of the
But
Cowboy
listen,
fans that's here, we know how to be a little unbiased. So,
there you go. We're just talking football because we love football. We
brother,
may love the Cowboys, but we love
brother
the game.
Walker.
So we here for everybody. And I'm sorry if
Oh,
you hailed to the Redskins and I gave a C. Sorry. That's just how I
that
feel about it.
that was Coach Chadwick, brother Walker. What would you
um,
grade the Redskins with?
I give him a B minus because I like the first round pick was a no brainer. Um, I like the wide receiver, running back, and I also like the wide receiver from Liberty. I think those are two picks that can help him on the outside. Sadiq Charles, again, like Dwayne said, he was in trouble, but he's a good offensive tackle. If he could just keep his head straight, he could do a lot of good things for the Redskins. Kaliki Hudson, I like him a lot because, again, like he's a safety slash linebacker, but he could just ball out, man. It doesn't make a difference what position he played, but you're gonna get a good quality player in Hudson from Michigan. And I don't really know about the rest of the guys, the guy from San Diego State or Arkansas. So I'll give him a B minus.
Uh, it's hard for me to. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. It is hard for me to talk about the Redskins. That is the Dallas Cowboys rival. However, the Redskins gonna get a B minus from me. With the potential, it could be catastrophic for the NFC East because what they built in that defensive line and that front seven the
Yeah,
last couple years could be dangerous with them Alabama
Problem.
boys anchoring that front line,
right.
and then them linebackers just running crazy, and you got Kerrigan still long in the tooth but still producing. So with an unbiased assessment, I'm gonna give them a B and possibly a grand slam knocking it out the park. As far as the Memphis running backs, for some reason, it's hard to rate them because they're all good when they come out, but they're all good because they split time. So I'm kind of undecided with him, but he has the potential with I think Grice, and they still got AP there. They get Ron Rivera. Anybody that knows him knows that he's going to try to build his teams from in to without. So
Hmm.
they're building their lines. They got a good receiver from last year. The Redskins, if they could get solid quarterback play, they can possibly threaten the Cowboys and the Eagles for tops of that division. I mean, they can make it really scary for them. And the Cowboy fans know that the Redskins play the Cowboys tough. No matter what the records are, it's always out the window.
Right.
So going forward, like I said, I'm gonna give them a B, but I'm gonna say potentially, whoo, that front seven can be dangerous.
Telling you, telling you, man, them bookends, man,
So what
got
was this
two good
trade?
bookends.
Who was next on the clock? Detroit, or they made the
The
trade?
Detroit,
Detroit.
All right,
Detroit.
Detroit. Brother Walker, you can start with Detroit. What was their grade?
I'll give them an A. I think they did a great job. I mean, Akuda, big time corner. They got my boy DeAndre Swift, that running back. They also got another running back who's kind of fast from New Mexico State. They did a good job getting Julian Okara for Notre Dame. They got Jonas Jackson, a guard from Ohio State. They got they got another guard from Kentucky, and then they got two defensive tackles from Ohio State and Utah. They tried to cover. Their coach is a Belichick disciple, so trying to mimic what Bill does. So I give them an A though because they did a good job this draft. They did a very good job.
Okay, you give them an A. Brother Outlaw, what you give Detroit?
Um, I give them an A minus. I'm saying I said I like Jeff Okuda, like another no brainer pick, man. You let Slay go, you get possibly a more talented cornerback in Okuda. Um, again, DeAndre Swift, you know, talented running back from the SEC. They need a, they've had good running back, but they've had some injury problems. The boy they got from Auburn, he gets hurt a lot. I forget his name, but he gets hurt a lot. So I guess DeAndre Swift is a fill-in for him. Um, I do like Okora out of Notre Dame. Notre Dame, their defensive end. Notre Dame puts out some solid defensive end. They don't end up a lot of them don't end up being stars, but they're really solid players. And only pick I really don't like is that kid out of Wisconsin, Cephas. I just like I don't like his measurables, and I don't like like Wisconsin. Their wide receivers are kind of skewed, man. They haven't really had a guy like I really liked out of there since like Lee Evans, but they he's kind of slow, and like he fit their offense for what they do, but I don't think he'll be able to separate in the NFL. And there was some picks. There were some other wide receivers that I thought they could have got that were better, but they see other things in them that I can't. So it ain't up to me. And then I really think they tried to solidify their defensive line because they picked two tackles in a row. They picked two tackles in a row in the 6th and 7th round. And lastly, They got a kid, Jason Huntley. I think we should watch out for him because he's one of the fastest guys in the draft at running back. And that kid could fly. And I think he could do some damage in that offense with Stafford because he can catch the ball too. So I give them an A- because they fill needs and but there's a couple of picks in there I wasn't too fond of.
Brother Morris, your microphone is off, sir. Your microphone ain't on, Dwayne. There you go.
Yeah, for the Lions, I gave them a B. I won't rehash what was already spoken by Craig and that, but I like the Jonah Jackson pick. He started his career at Rutgers, and he showed that he made that nice step to Ohio State and was a leader on that offensive line. And I like a lot of the Utah players that were drafted, and I watched a little bit of Utah film because we'll talk about the reason why a little bit later. But their defensive tackle that was picked up by the Lions, he showed up in a lot of their games. So I think he's a solid 6th-round pick. But overall, I think the Lions did a really good job. So I'm gonna give them a B. Of course, we're grading off what we think of this draft. We'll find out in 3 to 4 years,
As well as
which
well,
teams really
yeah.
did what in these drafts. But definitely a B for them.
As well as fellas with the grades, don't forget to mention their off season as well. And that brings me to the Lions. My assessment of the Lions is a C. And the reason why
Mm-hmm.
is because, like Anthony said, the Lions decided to draft 2 defensive tackles because they let Daniels and Snacks Harrison go. So to
Mm-hmm.
me, watching football, I think the Lions is sending mixed messages. In one instance, they're telling you they want to compete, but in the next instance, they're rebuilding. Got rid of Slay, they go get the kid out of Ohio State at cornerback. So if you're rebuilding, you need to do something with the biggest asset that you have, and that's the quarterback that's over 30. I know it's hard. I know a lot of people always say, well, you can't get rid of your franchise quarterback, but I would rather get rid of my franchise quarterback than rebuild as a middle of a pack team every year. Your ceiling is 10-6. Your wall is 6-10, and this is the area where I think the Lions have always found themselves. They don't really have any skill position players except the young kid they drafted at running back, who possibly could be their best running back since Barry Sanders. Then on top of that, you have to compete with Green Bay, who as long as they got Aaron Rodgers, they're gonna compete, and then the Vikings, who have actually retooled, as we'll see later when we do their offseason assessment. So I'm giving them a C. The New York Football Giants. Brother Walker, you gotta start because Dwayne dropped out. But let's talk about the New York Football Giants, Brother Walker.
The Giants, I'll give them a B. I think they got an offensive tackle. They want to build their line of scrimmage, and Mr. Andrew Thomas, he's a very good offensive tackle. He's been a left tackle all 3 years at Georgia. He came out as a junior, but he's excellent, All American offensive tackle. He could do real well, and he's very versatile. And if they need him at guard, he could play guard too as well. But the pick that I really like them getting is 2 picks. I like them. I like them getting Xavier McKinney at safety.
Yes.
He's an excellent safety. Excellent safety. Started at Alabama for 3 years. Another one of them guys that you could plug in and play. He's good. And I like Darnay Holmes pick. Darnay Holmes, because he could play special teams too as well. That's a great pick. That's a great pick. I know in the off season they got rid of a couple. They got rid of Alec Ogletree. Um, so linebackers. I know they got a couple of linebackers in the 7th round. I know one of them, Tay Crowder. He was solid at Georgia. And then they got another one from Penn State and South Carolina. So and they got an offensive tackle from Connecticut. So you're building their bookends for the future. So I'll give them a B. I think they're going young and they're trying to build their line of scrimmages and they got the players that they need to get. So I'll give him a B.
Brother Morris, we're gonna go with you with the Giants next.
His microphone. His microphone.
He on now.
Okay.
You heard me, Brother Morris?
For the Giants, I got the
Yeah.
Giants as a B. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can hear you.
We can hear you, Brother
I don't know
Morris.
if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
He
Yeah,
froze.
I have as a B. I think Tom be a good tackle, but I think he was a little bit rated like the fourth round.
Oh, Brother Morris, we keep losing you, Brother Morris. Go ahead, Outler, until his connection get better.
Okay, so I'll give the Giants a B only because and I feel a lot of Giants fans felt that they needed some defensive guys, especially linebacker. So I thought they were going to pick Isaiah Simmons, but I understand why Gettleman took Thomas because I forget it, the quarterback Daniel Jones took a lot of sacks last year. So he was a top 10 pick. So you want to protect what you think is your franchise quarterback. Um, Thomas is a good offensive tackle. I was surprised that they didn't take Works, but Works fell down low. I don't know why, but I think Thomas as a run blocker, he's fantastic. He does need a little work, pass blocking. Like Craig said, he beat me to it, man. McKinney, man, that was a good pick. That was a good pickup in the in the second round. He should go good. He should work good alongside of Jabril Peppers. And I think if Darnay Holmes pans out, I think he could be a steal. He's got the measurables, man. He's got the measurables. He's got the size, speed, talent. So I do like what the Giants did. It's the one draft that Gettleman didn't do something stupid in. so that'll bring the grade up a little higher. But I like what they did. I like what they did, especially in the first couple of rounds. I think Matt Pert, the offensive tackle from Connecticut, if he pans out, that gives them another starter, and he could kick in the guard if he doesn't work out at tackle. So yeah, I give him a B. I like what a B plus. I like what they did.
Hey, I got Brother Morris on the line. He had the phone in. Brother Morris, you want to finish with your Giants? I know that you gave the Giants a B, but you didn't finish with your assessment. You want to finish?
Yeah, I said a B. So like I said, the Andrew Thomas pick, I think he's going to be a solid tackle. I just think there were about three more that are a little bit better than him. McKinney is a lockdown, solid pick in the second round. I really, really like the Darnay Holmes kid from UCLA. I think he's going to be a really good slot corner, nickel corner, and he's going to help them in special teams in a big, big way. And the last person I like to highlight from the Giants would be Chris Williamson, the cornerback from Minnesota. I think he's very underrated. I think he has good ball skills. He can press, play zone, and I think he made the Giants draft.
Okay. My assessment of the Giants is I'm gonna get them a C minus with not including their draft, like looking at their off-season moves. And the reason why is I know how Gettleman builds a team. He builds a team from the lines out. Being a ex-Cowboy head coach for 10 years, I know what Jason Garrett is about, trying to build a team from the lines out. But I don't know is about the head coach, where he stands. It's always basically special teams and so forth. So I see what the Giants are trying to do with build that get that lineman, but I think that lineman was a little bit of a reach to be that pick. I think Simmons could have been a difference maker because if you look at the rest of their draft board, they didn't kind of like make sense because you draft in your interior, then you go somewhere totally different. But the Giants' biggest issue is trying to protect Danny Dimes and Saquon. So I guess trying to get that line together and solidify that offensive line is key. One of the things from our last pre-draft talk that I asked Kevin was, is they going to get a possession receiver? Right now, the Giants don't have a possession receiver. They got 3 slot guys on their team. Their 3 top receivers are all slot guys. So they're going to be probably try to get a possession receiver going forward. But I'm going to give the Giants a C minus. Like I said,
they do have a possession receiver in Slayton. People be forgetting about Slayton. He got the size. He's like 6'4", man. So
Slayton's 4 in the depth. He's 4 in the depth chart for a reason, Mr. Outland. I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's not a possession receiver, but he ain't 4th on that depth chart for nothing.
You got to give him no credit, man.
I gotta give the Giants a C minus because I see when you build your lines, most people will not be what they call sexy in the draft, sort of say. But basically, they struck out last year with getting Solder. Solder was a straight button up. Was it Solder? Yeah, Solder was a straight bust at left tackle for them. And I think the key thing now is to continue to try to build their lines up. You know, they got the kid Hernandez last year who could be a 10, 12-year starter. So with that, I'm going to just get him a C minus. The next offseason, I must say, if any one of you guys don't give them an A at least, something's wrong. Because the next team is the Miami Dolphins. Brother Morris, we're going to go with you first.
I'm going on record. Everyone knows I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, but hey, listen, I got a real love for this Dolphins team. I like Flores. I like Chris Greer, the GM. I just like everything that they're doing in this offseason, let alone the draft. And if I had to think about this year's draft, I know this is an off-season grade rating, but if I had to think of this year's draft, I think the Dolphins did the best job out of all the teams. I mean, you got Tua, who's your franchise. You got a tackle to protect him, and Austin Jackson. You got the kid from Auburn. I'm not going to try to make you say his last name. I ain't embarrassing myself. But he's a really good corner. I like Raekwon Davis from Alabama. Brandon Jones is a very underrated safety from Texas. What I do love is I love what they did in the 5th round. They took 2 edge rushers that I was very high on. Jason Strowbridge from North Carolina. And my favorite edge rusher in this draft is Curtis Weaver. I know some people say he could be an end, he could be an outside linebacker. All I know is that kid gets after the quarterback. And when you got 34 sacks, man, you're doing something right. So I really like what they did there. And I just like the whole system that they have in place with Flores and Greer. And I just think the Dolphins set up a big thing. Like, I'm ready to say I think they're going to win the AFC East this year. I'm just a big fan of their program and what they're doing.
All right, I like that, Brother Morris. Brother Outlaw, you could go next, sir.
I like what they did, even though I think they did reach for 2 guys in the 1st round outside of Tua. I'm definitely gonna give them an A, but I think they reached for Igbahini because they already have 2 or 3 corners. They have 2 corners that are big money corners, and I think they could have used that pick to address some other needs. I also think they reached for Austin Jackson. I think they could have got. If they were going to get a tackle, they could have got the kid. They could have got the kid Jones out of
Houston.
Who I think was a better tackle. But you know, like I said again, they see things that we don't. I do love the Raekwon Davis pick. I trust Alabama defensive linemen, man. If they're not stars, they're usually solid linemen. So, you know, I think that guy's a space eater, great against the run. I think he didn't really get to show what he could do, especially coming off that injury. But I tell you this, that man got shot in the leg missed like a week and then came back and played. So that should pretty much tell you what he got. Like Dwayne said, I do like Curtis Weaver, man. I think he should have went higher, but those guys out of Boise, man, they put solid players out. And another guy that I like, that got taken in the 7th round is Malcolm Perry from Navy. He was their quarterback, but he had 1,000-yard season at a quarterback at Navy, and I think he could transition into a pretty good running back. So I give him an A. I like what they did, man. They are building something, great in there. Tua, I don't need to really talk about him because, personally, I don't think he's going to play this year because Fitzpatrick always manages to have a fantastic year when he's against the wall. So I expect them to actually make the playoffs behind some Fitz magic, by some type of witchcraft. But I like what they did. They building, Flores is building, a solid program down there. So give them a.
Brother Walker. For those that just hold up, for those that's just tuning in, we're doing our off-season football wrap-up 2020 because hopefully the season will start on time this year. So right now we're doing the Dolphins with Brother Walker. Brother Walker, your assessment on the Dolphins off-season.
They get an A plus. Just between the off season free agent and the draft, they did an excellent job. And not to mention, this is just momentum building from the second half of last year where they played some pretty good football. So Flores and the new GM down there, they're doing an excellent job. If you look from 1st round to 7th round, they got good quality picks. I'm not going to really go over Anthony and Dwayne did a good job, and their free agent their signings. They basically built the whole team in between the draft and the off season. So again, Miami did an excellent job. They get an A plus.
My assessment of the Dolphins is the Dolphins get an A plus in my eyes. I love it. I love what they're doing. Like you said,
Right.
middle end of last year. If you look at them, they were competitive in every single game. They
Right.
played hard for the coach. Then the coach was able to finally spend some money. He went and got some former players from New England. First thing he did was got Van Noy. Then they knocked it out the park in the draft. Byron Jones may not give you interceptions, but he is a lockdown corner. Maybe if he's taught by a proper DB coach down there to get your head around, he'll probably get some interceptions because he didn't learn that in Dallas because they didn't teach it. As far as their picks is like they're basically playing with house money this year when it comes to Tua because they still got an asset on the bench in Rosen. Most people don't like him, but Rosen just happens to be a quarterback that just got bad situations. Sometimes you get drafted to teams that change coaches and you just lose your job. So Chan Gailey's down there, and I know Chan Gailey is a creative offensive coordinator. Hopefully he got a quarterback coach and they could probably turn Rosen into a future asset. But I really like what they're doing. I'm like Dwayne, that AFC East this year, you're gonna see competitive games because the coach is still up there in New England, and he's gonna coach right. And as we'll talk about later, Buffalo did some very good moves. So, like I said, I got to give them an A plus because I really love what their program is doing.
Yes.
Now, Brother Morris is back with us. Who is the next pick?
We'll see
The
how
Los
long.
Angeles Chargers is on the clock.
Right.
Brother Morris, you could bring them in too, man.
I'm kind of wishy-washy with the Chargers. I think they did some good things, some bad things. Their off season has been, I don't know. I'm a Tyrod Taylor fan. Sounds like they're gonna go with him this year and have Justin Herbert behind them. From a draft standpoint, I like the Kenneth Murray pick. I like KJ Hill from Ohio State. I'm kind of surprised he fell all the way to the 7th round. But I'm prone to give the Chargers a D on their draft, man. I'm not a Justin Herbert fan myself. He could prove me wrong, but I'm not a big fan of his. I'm not a fan of Joshua Kelly, the running back out of UCLA. So the only thing I really like out of their draft is Murray and KJ.
Brother Outlet, you can go.
I'm with Dwayne, but I'll give him a C plus only because of Kenneth Murray. That's literally the only pick that I like in their draft. Like Dwayne, I'm not a Justin Herbert fan. Like people get caught up in the size, 6'6", probably about 225, 230, runs a decent 40. But if you look at his film, he makes a wild throw and then he misses like three easy throws. So that's not good. And then I just don't trust Oregon quarterbacks, man. Achilles Smith, Joey Harrington, you know, this just he smells of them. Marcus Mariota, he smells of them. I do like KJ Hill at the value for the value. He was productive at Ohio State, but I really don't trust Ohio State wide receivers either because it's hard to judge them because they play. I just don't trust Ohio State wide receivers. I haven't seen a good one outside of Chris Carter and Joey Galloway that I could really say like, well, damn. But I do like Kenneth Murray. Kenneth Murray is a good pick. He should fit in good with Derwin James and everybody else. And I give them a C plus. If Herbert pans out, the grade goes higher. But I just think he's a bust waiting to happen.
Brother Walker.
I give him a C minus. There's one pick I like, and I like the safety from Notre Dame, Alohi Gilman. I think that was a nice pick for the 6th round. But C minus. I mean, there's nothing in this draft that they knew they was gonna get a quarterback because of losing Rivers. But I mean, the only pick I'm like everybody else. Kenneth Murray is a player at linebacker. I think that's an excellent pick for them. So C minus. And I didn't really see anything off season they did spectacular. I know they got rid of Melvin Gordon and they're trying to replace him with Joshua Kelly, but Joshua Kelly really didn't show. I mean, I'm not gonna say he didn't show me anything, but I'm not excited about them picking him in the 3rd, 4th round.
I have to give the Los Angeles Chargers a D plus. It sounds harsh, but when you look at their overall offseason, they let 2 of their better players go. Even though Phillip Rivers was long in the tooth, you let him go, and in that division, you're going to be able to score. You have to be able to score points, and Tyrod Taylor is not one of those quarterbacks that's going to be able to sling it 30 to 45 times a game to produce enough points. So they're going to have to play a lot of ball control football. So going with that, if you're going to play ball control football and Isaiah Simmons is sitting there waiting for you to draft him, you should have drafted him and paired him with Derwin James, and they could have had a defense for the ages. With Bosa, Derwin James, and you still got the Melvin Ingram over there on the other side. So even though I do like the linebacker they got, I mean, Isaiah Simmons could have been a problem with them. So I just think that their overall offseason has really took a hit because you can't lose the face of your franchise. And though Tyrod Taylor, I believe that he could be a solid quarterback, and Anthony Lynn has a good program in that division. You're gonna have to be able to score points, and I just don't think they're gonna be able to do it. So I got to give them a D plus for their whole offseason. It's just not looking good. On the clock, we have the Carolina Panthers. We'll go with Mr. Outler.
All right, so Matt Rule, all defensive draft. I can see why they went all defense because they don't really have they have some good offensive pieces. They have some good offensive pieces, and I think they can do it. Just give me a second to just get to my breakdown on them. I'm sorry, just need a second. Sorry. Give me 1 second, guys. Dang, where did I put it at? Sorry. Man, where did I put it? Sorry, this is gonna be. Just bear with me. Bear with me. Okay, so it took Derek Brown, the beast. You know, two best D linemen in the draft was Brown and Kinlaw, but Brown's more of the beast, man. He's the guy. He's the guy that has Aaron Donald traits. Stays on all three. You know, he's a problem. You know, the Utura Gross Matos. I like him out of Penn State. I think he's got the potential to be a 10-year starter. Who I like, man, a lot of people sleeping on, man, is Jeremy Chin, man, out of Southern Illinois. Small school guy, but he has big measurables, man. He's a hitter and he can cover, man. I think these guys are gonna fit in good with Brian Burns, who's a budding star, and I'm surprised. I'm surprised they didn't take Isaiah Simmons because I thought that's who they were gonna take, but I could understand, taking Brown if they like their linebacker, because the one thing about Isaiah Simmons that everybody's saying, a lot of scouts are saying is that like he can be good and bad in a way. He can be good that he has the athleticism to play anywhere, but then he could end up being those guys that's like a jack of all trades, but a master at none of them. So and that kind of hurts because it's like, okay, well, if you got one of those guys, now you got to find a way. You got to find a way. You got to find a place to put them, and then you got to like build your defense around them. So I can see that, but I like what Matt Rule's doing out there, man. Stanley Thomas Oliver the third out in the seventh round. He's got the athleticism, man. I saw a couple of games with him at FIU, and I thought he could be. I thought he could have went higher, but small school guys, they don't really, especially like FIU, they really don't like. It's kind of a bias against them. But I give him a B plus. I thought they could have got some offense, to build around Bridgewater, but I guess they're happy with McCaffrey, Curtis Samuel. I think they needed another wide receiver, but you know, I'm not the head coach, so yeah. So I like what they did. I give him a B plus. You know,
Brother Morris is back on the phone with us, but we're gonna let Brother Craig.
Um,
Brother
I,
Craig.
Carolina Pan, I give them an A minus. They got some good players in the draft. I mean, Brown, Matos, Chin, Pride, Kenny Robinson from West Virginia is a very good safety. Roy but off season, they got Teddy Bridgewater, but they also got um my man from the Jets, the wide receiver. They just
oh,
got Robbie Anderson, and
Robbie
they got
Anderson.
Farrell Cool, and they got Russell Otone. So I mean, they got PJ Walker. I give him an A. I mean, Matt Rule knows what he's doing. Everywhere he's been, he's rebuilt teams. So I, I trust in Matt Rule. So I give him an A minus. I really like their draft, and I also like what they're doing in the off season too
Brother
to
Outlaw, what
fit
was
their
your
pieces.
assessment of them? What was your grade?
I give him a B plus only because I thought they could have picked up an offensive guy, man. I want to give him an A because their defensive choices were solid, but I just think when you go all one side on the draft and you just don't address like depth on another side, you just you just it drops your grade down. I just feel that in the draft you need to address all sides, just not both sides, man. You got to
Brother
pick up
Brother
somebody.
Morris.
Okay, for Carolina, if I'm looking at their overall offseason, um, you got to consider the fact that they got a new coach in town, and Matt Rule. I'm a big Matt Rule fan. If you look at what they've lost a lot. They lost Mario Addison, they lost Bruce Irvin, they lost Terry Crow, they lost Vernon Butler, they let McCoy go. Kuechly retired. They got rid of Cam. So basically, he's rebuilding this whole team fighting it. You bring in a Teddy Bridgewater, you bring in a PJ Walker for your quarterback room. Those two solid quarterbacks. But they got a lot to replace. They let their top corner go. Brandenburg with the Giants right now. They didn't re-sign Eric Reed. So they had quite a bit of needs going into the draft. I think Derek Brown's a very good tackle. I like Gross Matos on the edge. Tony Brown Jr. at corner. I like him. And then we'll see. I think Jeremy Chin is a wild card. He was a stud in the level of football that he played. It's just a matter of he's going to step up in class and how he's going to react to that step up in class. But I'm a big Matt Rule fan. I think you have to trust him. He can build programs. He can build Temple into a winner. He had Baylor on the right track. Now he's coming to the NFL, but he has NFL pedigree. He's an NFL assistant. So overall, with all that said, I think a solid B because he's building the team in his likeness, and we'll see where they go from there.
Okay, we got you solid B for the Carolina Panthers. I'm gonna give them a C plus. I mean, like Brother Morris said, with all their flux of players leaving the program, the face of their offense and the face of their defense, one retiring and one being let go. It's going to take a lot for them. They got a lot of leadership issues. Now Christian McCaffrey is the highest paid running back, so best believe he's going to get at least 15 to 20 carries and about 10 passes a game. They're going to wear him out. So I hope that his body can handle it. As far as their offseason, I mean, they built a lot of solid guys that will be able to stabilize the program going forward. Like I said, at least if you're a Carolina Panther fan, you have a direction of where your franchise is going. You don't have a bunch of old guys mixed with a bunch of new guys where y'all on the brink of winning. The coach kind of knows that he needs to rebuild, and him and the owner, who's a hedge fund guy, is kind of on the same page going forward with rebuilding their program. So I'm gonna give them a C plus, and the only reason I'm giving them a C is because, like I said, you can't lose that many guys in your locker room, and now it's a question of leadership. Who's gonna be that leader in the defensive rooms? That's the key. So hopefully going forward, Carolina got a lot of good things, but this division is a lot like that AFC West. If you can't score points with Atlanta and the Saints, you ain't winning too many ball games. So it's going to be tough with Carolina trying to win a lot of games next year going forward. Next, we have Arizona.
Mm-hmm.
Arizona Cardinals. Brother Morris, we'll let you go first, sir.
With their offseason, I will give the Cardinals an A because they basically stole DeAndre Hopkins from the Texans, and that's another weapon for Kyler Murray. I think Isaiah Simmons was the best defensive player in the draft, and you get him at number 8. I think Josh Jones is a solid tackle. I'm a big fan of Eno Benjamin from Arizona State. You know, he had good coaching. When you look at Herm Edwards and that staff that Herm built, so when you put in DeAndre Hopkins into that offense, and they still got Larry Fitzgerald, and I just think you're putting all the pieces around Kyler Murray to make him successful. And with their offseason and the draft, I give him an A.
Brother Walker, you go.
A. Like you said, they got DeAndre Hopkins for a bag of balls. But the one player that I'm telling you, at 6th round, Evan Weaver, he's a tackling machine out of Cal. He's gonna fit right in on that defense. Somebody that could plug the hole, could play tough. But Isaiah Simmons, we already know what he could do. He could do basically everything on defense. They got Josh Jones as an offensive tackle to help the line. They got Rashad Lawrence at defensive tackle and Leaky Fotu from Utah, another Utah defensive player who plays very well. And then you got Eno Benjamin, who was a good running back at Arizona State. They definitely get an A. They did a good job.
Brother Outler.
I'm legit. As a 49ers fan, I'm legit worried about the Cardinals, man. Because they seem like they about to become the young upstarts, man. Like, we got a young team too, but they just man, I like what they did, man. I like when they picked up Hassan Reddick, man. He was an ultra athletic linebacker out of Temple. And now you pair him with Simmons, you know. And then like Craig said, I like Evan Weaver out of Cal too. I think he's gonna slide right in and be a tackling machine. And they got a steal and Benjamin out of Arizona State, man. A lot of people sleep on Arizona State because they play late and you don't really get to see them until late night on Saturday. But man, I like him. And like I said before earlier, I felt that Josh Jones out of Houston could have went higher. And you got him in round 3. You got him in round 3. That's, man, I gotta give him an A, at least an A, man. I think, man, I really want to give him an A plus because like DeAndre Hopkins, man, Craig said, they got him for nothing, man. They got him for a bag of nickels, man. It was almost like a reverse, how they had the Chris Paul trade, the NBA, and the NBA vetoed it. It's like the NFL was like, all right, we're gonna make this team good, so we're gonna approve this one. Man. So like I said, they doing everything they possibly can to make college success.
I'm
He already had a level of success last year because he proved that he was a player last year. So I gotta give him a solid A, man, A plus. I want to give him an A plus, but I don't really want to give any team an A plus right there.
I gotta give Arizona that A plus, man. Because when you look at their off season to trade any running back for a receiver, you stole. And on top of that, their receiver room
Where's outside?
is beautiful for a young quarterback. If they could protect him, the Cardinals can make big strides within the division because the Rams have taken a step back as well. And you never know with
Come on.
Seattle, with
Come
Russell's
on.
gonna always make Seattle tough, but the Cardinals can make some big strides because they got the skill
Go
players
outside.
now. If their defense can mature fast enough, they're gonna be real interesting to look at. So I'm gonna give them an A plus moving forward. Who is the next pick? Jacksonville, right?
Yes. Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
I think we skipped Jacksonville. Jacksonville has a ninth pick in the first round.
Oh, so Jacksonville had the ninth pick, Dwayne.
Yeah, we skipped them. They had C.J. Henderson that was ninth overall.
All right, we're gonna do Jacksonville now because I still got the original draft stuff, so I can't find my first round stuff that I did. So after the Cardinals picked, who was it? Jacksonville, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Jacksonville picked before the Cardinals. It was Jacksonville 9 and the Cardinals. No, I'm sorry, you're right. Cardinals was the 8. So we're at Jacksonville. Yes.
Okay,
Sorry.
we're gonna do the Jaguars. We're gonna try to speed it up a little bit because of time, y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would just say that let's just do off-season grades from here on out, right? We just gonna grade each team,
Okay.
and then we could talk about after the show what we think about each division. Y'all cool with that?
Yeah, we
Okay.
cool.
All right, we're gonna do a rapid fire here with the grades, Dwayne. Go ahead.
Jaguars 8 months.
Outlook,
I give him an A.
Craig.
A.
I'm gonna give them a B. Who's the next pick? Cleveland.
Browns. Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland was 10.
Cleveland. Outlook.
I give them an A.
Hey, brother Walker.
A minus.
Dwayne.
B.
I'm gonna give them a B plus. The Jets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne.
I'm going to A with the Jets.
A with the Jets. Outlook.
Solid A with the Jets.
Brother Walker.
I'm gonna give them an A. They did a great job.
and I'm gonna give them a B. The next pick was the Raiders, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Raiders were 12.
Outler,
I give them a B.
B. Dwayne,
See,
Walker,
B minus.
I'm gonna give him a C. Next pick was the Colts, but they traded with y'all, right? Outler, they had traded with the 49ers.
Well, we gave
No,
we took their first round pick. Yeah.
So the 49ers picked, right?
no, it's
Uh,
the 13th
yeah,
pick was Tampa Bay.
yeah.
Tampa
No,
Bay.
we actually traded back. Yeah, Tampa
Okay.
Bay was we
13th
traded
pick was
back.
Tampa Bay.
Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
Brother Walker,
A.
Dwayne,
B.
Outler.
I give them an A minus. Sorry.
I gotta give him an A because of Tom Brady, unfortunately.
Oh well, yeah.
Who's the next pick, y'all?
The 49ers.
49ers.
Morris,
I give them an A minus.
Outler,
I give us an A.
Craig.
A.
I'm gonna give them an A as well because I like that they were able to trade and get another receiver and get younger when it from as far as the salary cap. They got rid of a guy that was worth a little bit of too much money.
Mhm.
Next pick was
Denver.
Denver.
Den-
Dwayne,
I give them a B.
Outler,
I give them a B too.
Walker.
B.
I'm gonna give them a B as well. I mean, I like what they're doing for the young. Well, we'll talk about that later. The Falcons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Morris, Outler,
I give them a B minus.
Craig.
C.
I'm giving the Falcons a D. The Cowboys, Brother Walker,
A plus.
A plus. Dwayne, Outler,
I give the Cowboys an A, man. Well, you know what? I got to give them an A plus, man. CD at 17, man. Yeah.
we're gonna discuss that. I'm gonna give the Cowboys an A.
Like I would want to give them an A plus,
Who's the
but
next pick?
man.
Dolphins. We did the Dolphins.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we
Dolphins.
did the Dolphins already.
Dolphins. We did already.
Yeah.
We did the Raiders and we did Jacksonville.
And who else? So now we can go all the way to the Eagles, right?
Yeah.
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 Dwayne,
I give the Eagles a B.
Outler,
I give them a B minus.
Craig.
B minus.
I'm giving them a C. What's
I
the next
kinda-
thing?
Minnesota.
Dwayne, Minnesota.
Minnesota, I give them an A.
Outler,
I give them an A too.
Walker.
A.
They get an A in my book too. What's the next team, y'all?
You said who?
Brother Morris, Pats.
I give them an incomplete.
What'd you give them?
He gave him an incomplete. Brother Walker.
Okay. I get him a D.
Outler.
F.
F.
Yes, F. Solid F.
I give him a D minus. And they only getting that because the coach still there. If he could win this draft, he proves something to me again. Once again, prove me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
What's the next team, y'all?
24 was
Saints.
Saints.
Saints was 24.
Dwayne.
I give them a C.
C. Outler.
Same. See.
C. Craig.
C minus.
I'm gonna give them a B because of all their offseason moves. I kind of like them a little bit. I think that they just basically retooled and definitely got another receiver. But anyway, who's next?
We did the 49ers. Green Bay at 26.
Huh,
Oh man.
Outler.
C minus.
Dwayne.
Are we on the Packers?
Yeah.
Give the Packers a D.
Brother Walker.
I give him a D.
Give him a D. I'm giving them a failing grade because they haven't drafted a receiver since the guy been there in the first round. Like, what do you expect? You know, you keep shopping at the five and dime store. You're bound to have bad health. But anyway, I digress.
That's why Daffy's going out of business.
Yeah. Who
They buying a turkey with stovetop
who's
stuff.
who's the next team? Seattle.
Seattle.
Outler.
I give them a C, man.
C. Dwayne. D. Craig.
C.
C. I'm gonna give them a C as well. They haven't really been hitting in their drafts lately, neither. Who's the next team? Kansas City, right?
No, Baltimore.
Oh, Ravens. A plus from Dwayne. Outler.
Same A plus, man. Out the park.
Craig.
A plus.
I'm giving them an A plus too. I mean, some organizations just get it. The Chiefs.
No, not
Got Tennessee.
Tennessee.
Tennessee. Outler.
A B.
B.
Yeah.
Dwayne. B minus. Brother Walker.
B.
B. I'm gonna give them a B as well. Now we got the Chiefs, right?
Yeah.
Outler.
I actually give them an A. I like
A.
Gay and the running back Edwards Hilaire.
Dwayne. C plus. Brother Walker.
B minus.
B minus. I'm gonna give them a B. The Steelers and the Bears didn't have a first round pick, but we could talk about them because this is basically the off-season moves. So,
Right.
yeah, Bears, Steelers, and Rams. So, going forward, because time is eluding us and it's kind of late.
Uh-huh.
I know brothers got stuff to do. It's gonna be nice down there tomorrow, so I know y'all guys might want to get out, enjoy the beautiful parks in New Jersey, and get
Nah, I
some
ain't going to no
fresh
park.
air.
Forget that. I'll drive my car. I ain't going to no park.
But anyway, brother, Coach Cam said that the Vikings deserve the A plus.
Okay.
So let's go with divisions now. Let's start off with the AFC West. How do you guys feel about the AFC West? We'll go with you, Brother Walker.
AFC West, man. I mean, I'm telling you, the team that they better watch out for is the Broncos.
Yes.
I'm impressed with the Broncos and what they're doing. I would say the Chargers. I know Tyrod's solid, but I gotta see how they do. But they have a chance to do something good too. But I'm telling you, the Chiefs better watch out for the Broncos. That's the team they need to watch out for.
Mm-hmm.
That's the team.
How you feel about the AFC West, Brother Morris?
Well, the champs are there, right? So I think there's still a chance until somebody's dethroned them. I think they're the class of the division. San Diego, we're gonna see. They got Tyrod Taylor. Don't know if they're gonna turn it over to Herbert at some point. The Raiders, Las Vegas. We'll see. I was not sold on their draft or what Gruden and Mayock was trying to do with the draft. I understood the Ruggs thing. That's more like outdated than anything. But just to wrap it up, I think AC, man.
Brother Outler.
It's about to get competitive. I think the Chiefs, contrary to popular belief, they have a limited window because they're gonna have to give Mahomes in the next year they're gonna have to give him close to $50 million a season to throw the football. So and as of right now, they said they only have like $250,000 in salary cap, which means they could barely sign their draft picks, of which they have 4. Um, I think the Broncos are putting something together. I don't think they're ready yet to challenge, but I think they're putting something together, man. Judy and KJ Hamler, they look like they can do something along with Cortland Sutton and Melvin Gordon. They got and Noah Fant. They got some good young offensive studs going, but I got to see what Drew Lock can give me for a whole year. The Raiders are the Raiders. They had Al Davis picks this year, and as long as David Carr is their quarterback, I don't see them doing anything. And we got to see what kind of year Tyrod gives the Chargers, or if he even plays, because management and ownership might be like, yo, like we invested a top 10 draft pick in Herbert, so we want to get him on the field right now. So him coming out of a shotgun offense, read offense, man, we don't really know what he can do. So from that point, I just think it's the Chargers. I'm at the Chargers. The Chiefs is division to lose.
I think the Chiefs is going to win the division. They got a track team over there. They just added more track weapons.
Mm-hmm.
The Raiders, even though I don't think that we are as high on their draft picks as most people, I think that they realize that you have to score points, and that's why they got these receivers. Like I told you, I think San Diego is going to struggle. The Broncos is an interesting team to look at. I mean, honestly, the Broncos kind of got a piece to build something that could be interesting. They got good skill players. Now it's basically up to the quarterback whether his maturation has gotten us further. Moving right along, let's go to the NFC South. NFC South. Brother Morris, you want to lead us with the NFC South?
Well, I believe in Drew Brees and Sean Payton and everything that they're doing. I like Jameis going there and learning under Drew Brees and Sean Payton and maybe taking over. And right now, I just think it's the Saints division to lose.
Straight up, just like that. Brother Outlet, you want to go?
I'm with Dwayne. I'm thinking, the Saints. They just added oh man, my brain. Sanders. They just added Emmanuel Sanders to go with Michael Thomas. Their big problem was they didn't have another guy outside of Thomas last year. I think they filled that with Sanders. I'm not sold on, Tampa Bay being the Patriots South for 2 reasons. Bruce Arians' offense, he likes to throw deep. Tom Brady doesn't have that arm strength anymore. And, they still don't have a viable running back. And Tom Brady needs that security valve, can catch the football, block, do the dirty work running back. I don't, and he's old too. Him and Gronkowski are old. So I'm just not sold on him. So I think that's pretty much the Saints division to win. I don't think the Falcons have done enough to put themselves in a position to win games either, because they have a couple of losses.
Brother Walker.
I'm gonna go Saints, but the sleeper is the Falcons. I think the Falcons gonna sneak up on some people this year.
I'm gonna go with the Saints as usual. The only thing with the Saints that scare me is Drew Brees. Towards the end of the season, like week 10, it looked like his arm gets a little tired the last couple of years. So that could be a telltale sign that Father Time is knocking on the door. I think that Tampa Bay, they may get all the hype going in, but their defense is a little suspect. I mean, their defensive line, resigning the big guy, the Dominican Sue. He's old. He's 35 years old. He got old quick. The Falcons is the same old story, man. It's prolific looking offense, and they just don't want to do nothing on defense. I saw earlier where they don't even want to give Tack McKinley his 5th year. Like, and then you let Vic Beasley go. I just don't understand what they're doing down there on the defensive end. Having that coach, it's like they just all over the place. With that, we're gonna go to the AFC North. Brother Outlaw.
All right, so this is it's the Baltimore is the lose, but I think what I'm saying, like they have the best team. They added they had a great draft. They added some great guys. I think they're gonna win it outright. But I do think this is the year that the Browns actually put it together. They got some good guys. I think Delpit is going to be great once he's healthy. They still have ODB. They still have Jarvis Landry. They still have running backs. They actually picked up a good offensive lineman. I think what is it in Conklin or something like that. So
Yeah.
they've given Baker some help. So this is Baker's make it or break it year.
They said they told me to cut your mic, Anthony. They told me to cut your mic in the queue, brother.
They told me to cut my mic.
They said cut your mic.
This is the year. I think this is the year they put it together. I don't think they're gonna win. I just think they're gonna be a solid team this year.
Go ahead. Hold up. We're gonna move along because it's kind of getting late. I'm messing with you. But Craig, what do you think?
I mean, I'm gonna go Ravens, but man, I mean the Steelers, man. I mean, you can't count them out. You cannot count the Steelers out. So I mean, the Browns, until I see it, I mean, they have the pieces in place. They have the pieces in place. I just got to see it, but I think it's going to be between the Steelers and the Ravens this year.
Brother Morris.
I like the Ravens. Definitely the Steelers with getting Big Ben back if he's healthy and he plays the whole season. I think they'll have something to say about it. The Browns, I'm worried about the Browns. A lot of personalities on that team, and now you got Stefanski coming in there. They just got rid of Freddie Kitchens. So I'm not sure if they're going to be able to pull it all together. I think with a healthy Ben, you'll see the Steelers and the Ravens battling out for that division.
I'm gonna go with the Ravens, man. They just do everything right, man. I mean, even in their free agency, they go get a guy like Calais Campbell. I mean, something about the Ravens when they get players on their second and third contract that want to end their career, people like to go down there to that culture. I just can't trust the Browns with this new coach, and the Steelers, man. This guy showed me that he is really a great coach. He held the team together when they had a quarterback that was bagging groceries at Stop and Shop, leading the helm. It's like, how could you bet against the Steelers? As long as Big Ben could come back relatively healthy, the Steelers is going to be competitive. I mean, the guy could coach, man. The guy can coach. He could just flat out coach. Let's go to the NFC West. We're gonna let Mr. Outlaw go first because this is his division.
I think this is the most competitive division in football right now. You actually have two of the top teams in the league in the division with a chance to have another budding team in the Cardinals there. I do think the 49ers are going to win it again. I think I like what we did. We cut salary. We had a pretty good draft. I like what we did with our wide receivers. I like what we did, with Kinlaw. Also Trent Williams, man. Like you lose Joe Staley and then you replace him with a Pro Bowl player, and our defense is still intact for the most part. I think we still trying to make some noise there. The Seahawks are the Seahawks, man. Russell Wilson is carrying that team, so that team goes with how Russell does. But I think the Cardinals are going to surprise a lot of people this year. They made a little bit of noise. They scared a couple of people this year. I think they could possibly be a playoff team, man, with DeAndre Hopkins, with Kyle throwing to DeAndre Hopkins. But I think that we're going to win that division. The Rams, they're just on the downslide, and I think that's the 49ers division to lose right now.
Brother Morris, you go next, sir. Brother Morris.
I was on mute, my bad. I think the 49ers, they are the favorite to repeat. Seattle, Russell Wilson, much more you can say about that. I think this is a two-team division. I think the Cardinals are still going to be some growing pains there. So I think it's going to come down, man. It's going to come down to San Fran and Seattle. And if we can get another game, as a football fan, if we can get another game like that one last year, where that hit at the goal line decided it, I think that's a win for the NFL and anyone that loves the NFL.
Okay, Brother Walker.
I'm between Seattle and the 49ers, but I'm telling you, the Cardinals are going to be a wild card because I
Mhm.
think they improved so much. But between the 49ers and the Seahawks, definitely.
I got the 49ers, then I got the Seattle right there. I think this is the year that every 49er fan will be decided on Jimmy G. It's not going to be nothing else. It's all about Jimmy G this year. Their running game took them as far as they can go with that solid defense. Now Jimmy G is going to have to carry them with scoring. Seattle, you know what you get with Russell. He's going to make you competitive in every game. The Rams are rebuilding. I mean, it's
Right.
obvious what they're doing. They basically scrapped their whole defense because they got old quick. They overpaid these players, and they actually eating a whole bunch of money in their salary cap, and their quarterback is still undecided. The Cardinals will be competitive as well. Um, the AFC East, Brother Walker.
Yo, let me tell you something, man. This division is up and coming. I'm gonna go with Buffalo. I just like Buffalo. I know Josh Allen is one that quarterback that has to improve because they gave him weapons this year. They got him some weapons this year. So I like Buffalo. I like Miami too because I thought the second half of their year last year they really impressed me. They played hard. New England is New England. I don't care what you say. That as long as they got that head coach, they're gonna play. And the Jets are improving too. I mean, with when Darnold started, they went 7-6 last year. So this is gonna be a very interesting division. But I'm going with Buffalo.
Brother Outlaw.
Like I'm with Craig. It's a toss up, but Buffalo, man. Like they won it last year. They added Diggs, so they gave him a weapon. And the Jets and the Dolphins are still developing. So I think like you said, as long as any coach is there, they got a chance. But I think it's Buffalo. They had too many losses.
Brother Morris.
And Flores, I trust.
And Flores, you trust.
Oh my god.
Miami. I think Flores is going to go down as the best Belichick assistant. Um, I like Buffalo. I'm not that big on Allen at quarterback. I'm just not. I think he puts himself in harm's way when he runs. They do have. They drafted Jake Fromm to be a backup. They got Barkley there. Now I gave the Patriots incomplete because I just don't believe that Belichick's going into the season with his quarterback situation the way it is now. I really think that when it's all said and done, Cam Newton's going to be up there in New England. And that's very
Wow.
interesting. I like the Jets. I like what Joe Douglas did. He built the line up through free agency. Then he got big Mekhi Beckham. He got Mims as a target for Sam Darnold. But man, I just love this Brian Flores. Like, I'm just such a big fan of his. And I think the Dolphins going to win that division this year.
Okay. I kind of I love like me and Mr. Morris discussed previously. I love everything the Dolphins is doing. I love everything Buffalo is doing. I love everything the Jets have done, and then you got the coach. These are the times where you sat back and like me and Brother Walker was talking when you was listening to Bob Trumpy and them guys when it wasn't no NFL ticket or no Fire Stick, and we could only
Hmm.
watch the regional games growing up. These are the times where if you're an AFC East fan, you're gonna get some competitive football. With that, I have to make a pick, and I think the Dolphins gonna win at 9-7, man. I
Wow.
think they're gonna win that division at 9-7. I
Wow.
trust Fitzmagic more than I trust Allen because Allen is a great athlete, but at the end of the day, that running got to stop, and we got to. You win football from the pocket. I hate to say it, it's been proven. So that's why I got to go with the Dolphins. We're gonna go
Okay.
to the NFC North. Brother Morris, you can go first with the NFC North.
Well, it's no secret that I'm a big Mike Zimmer fan. Have been since he was defensive coordinator in Dallas. I like Minnesota. I know a lot of people knock Kirk Cousins. I get it. But I just think what they're doing, and they got Cook up there running that ball. I know they lost some things on their defense, but I like what they did in the draft. It's a tough division, man. I don't know what the Bears are thinking about. I really don't. They got Nick Foles up there, they got Trubisky. So I guess Foles will be the starter before the season before it's all said and done. But Green Bay, hey man, you got that bad man Aaron Rodgers up there, but they just continue to not give this man weapons for some reason. I'm not sure why, but just to wrap it up, I like Minnesota to win that division.
Brother Outlaw, you can go next, sir.
Vikings, man. Like Dalvin Cook, Cousins is a good quarterback, man. They added Jefferson, Thielen is still there. And they had some losses on defense, but I just still think they're the best team in that conference. The Bears, I don't know what they're doing there. They still, as long as Trubisky's there, they're not going to win anything. And Aaron Rodgers is basically a disgruntled quarterback now with no help outside Devontae Adams. So if Adams gets hurt again, it's over for them, man. Because I think that's the Vikings, man. They're a young upcoming team. I just love Dalvin Cook, man. He's a great. He stays healthy. The sky's the limit for them.
Brother Walker.
I'm gonna say the Vikings, but I, I think Green Bay gonna be right there. Even with all that's going on up there, I really think Green Bay's still gonna be there. The Bears, they have a quarterback issue. I mean, Foles look like he's gonna start, but you know how Foles is when he starts a whole year. And Detroit, they're still rebuilding, so I'm gonna go with the Vikings. It's between the Vikings and Green Bay.
I'm gonna go with the Vikings by default. And the reason why I say that is because the Vikings is the most talented team in the division, but the Vikings is going to take a step back because they lost some players on their defense that's key players. They still just undecided on whether they're going to bring back Griffin at the end. And the Packers, as long as that man up there, as long as he there, they're going to be competitive within every game. Detroit is Detroit. Longest playoff drought. No, not the longest playoff drought. They got to the playoffs 2016. But Chicago, same thing. You can't keep getting these quarterbacks to play in Chicago that don't have strong arms. You just can't do it because once it get cold and windy, they can't throw the ball. And that running the ball that they do, you got to have an elusive running back to be able to do the guy who could tote. And there's very few running backs that could tote that pill 25, 30 times a game in cold weather. Moving right along, the AFC South. The AFC South. Brother Walker, you go first, sir.
Um, ugh, God, this is a tough one. I know the Titans had a good year last year. You got Indianapolis this year with Phillip Rivers. You know what? I'm gonna go Indianapolis. I think the Colts are gonna win the division this year. Houston. They win the division, but they, there's a lot. They don't have no chemistry right now between the coach and with the move with DeAndre Hopkins. I'm gonna go Colts. I'm gonna go Colts.
Brother Outlaw.
This one's kind of hard. Like, 'cause I'm in the same boat as Craig. It's like uh uh man. A lot of people came off contract years. Running back, running back for I'm
Tennessee.
sorry, for Tennessee is in the contract year. You know, I don't really want to go with them. So as long as Watson's in the contract year too. So I'm gonna go with I don't know. It's a toss up. I do like the Colts though. Like I like what the Colts did, man. The Colts got a stud at running back and Jonathan Taylor, Jersey running back, Wisconsin running back, so he knows what he's doing. You know, they put him back there with the other guy they got. They could do some damage. I like what they did in the draft with Pittman, putting him in there.
He froze.
Dwayne, your brother froze. Give me something, Dwayne, on that AFC South.
This was the hardest division for me to forecast. I'm a big Deshaun Watson fan. Definitely going to miss Hopkins. I think Randall Cobb is a nice addition, but he's not going to replace the production of Hopkins. I think Bill O'Brien has too much power right now, being the head coach and the general manager. I do like Indianapolis. I like Phillip Rivers going there, but what I like most is their offensive line. And, they have Mack at running back, and now you're adding Jonathan Taylor to that mix, who I think was the best running back in the draft this year. Tennessee, Derrick Henry, a little upset. He feels like he should be the top running back, paid running back in the league. Tannehill had a good playoff. I don't know how he's going to be during a whole 16-game season. But I think it's going to be close, man. I think, Tennessee, Indianapolis, Houston, I think they can all stay claim for that South title.
Outlaw, who did you say was going to think we're going to win that division?
Indianapolis.
All right, I'm like Dwayne, man. A coin only got two sides, man, but it's a three-dog race in this division. Tennessee, they've been in the playoffs 3 years in a row. You can't discount that. Houston, for some reason, we all think Bill O'Brien is dysfunctional, but they keep winning the division, which is crazy when you look at it. But they keep winning, so something he's doing. I believe that the Hopkins trade, it's going to seem bad right now, but I think he kind of wants those smaller receivers who can get a little wiggle in their hips. Even though we know Hopkins is one of the top receivers in the league, I think he's looking for them Randall Cobb type of guys, them little smaller guys that could do certain little things that a big guy can't do. But this division is hard, man, because the Colts, long as Phillip Rivers don't throw 25 to 30 turnovers like he usually do, it could be the Colts because they're coached very well. They solid up front. They got probably one of the best guards in all of football with Quentin Nelson. And defensively, when you got Buckner there taking up blocks for that linebacker, I'm telling you, Leonard
Mm-hmm.
might be defensive MVP this year, fellas. That's just my personal opinion about the Colts. I always liked them, and plus, me, Craig, and Dwayne and myself, the defense coordinator, we like him in the Colts. So now we gonna go to the infamous NFC East. We're gonna let Brother Walker go first with the NFC East.
Well, this division is funny because you got three new coaches this year in the NFC East. Washington, Dallas, and the Giants. This is another toss up to me because my Cowboys, new coaching staff, new scheme. I want to see how that transpires. Giants, same thing. Eagles, you know, yeah, they got the coach, but they have some things they got problems with too. I'm gonna go with the Cowboys. I'm just gonna go with the Cowboys. I'm gonna go with my team.
Brother Morris, we're gonna go with you right now, sir.
Well, I couldn't hear what Brother Walker said, but for the NFC,
He went with He went with Dallas, Brother Morris.
well, like, hey, man, to beat the champ, you got to beat the champ, right? And the Eagles are the champ. And they got Carson Wentz. They added a lot of speed on the outside.
Cam, man.
The receivers that they picked up in the draft, so they got a lot of speed, but they're 50-50 if they're going to catch it or not. They got a nice defensive line. Peterson is a veteran coach there now. has not been a repeat champion in the NFC East in quite some time. Ron Rivera in Washington, he's solid, man. He's a solid NFL coach. So that's going to be an improved team. You know, Dwayne Haskins in his second year, he'll be improved from what he was last year. Joe Judge, we don't know. You know, he's from that Belichick tree. You know, he's a special teams guy. Gettleman, once again, he believes in building that line, so he has some linemen on there. Hey, man, I think they got the best running back in the NFL. I think we can give that to Saquon right now. That boy, if you come at him with one, you ain't going to bring him down. You need more than that. I think the Giants will be improved. As far as Dallas Cowboys, you know, new coach. I think coaching was something that has ailed the Cowboys for a while with Jason Garrett. I think they will be very explosive on offense. Would like to see them get Dak signed a little bit long term. Hopefully they can come together on that. I think tonight, the signing of Andy Dalton is really big, man. Dak's been in this league for, it's going to be his fifth year. He hasn't suffered any injuries. You know, you don't wish injuries on anyone. But if he does come down with an injury and Andy Dalton has to go in there for 3 or 4 games, I feel very comfortable with him being a Pro Bowler. You know, the fan in me, you know, I'm a fan, man. The fan in me says the Cowboys are going to win the NFC East. But honestly, it's going to be a dogfight between them and those Eagles, man. So we're just going to see who's standing at the end.
I see in the chat, people are a little surprised that Craig and Dwayne didn't do the fanboy stuff that most people are used to doing. Is that they're being objective. And I think that in the chat sometime I can't see your name. So please just type your name before you make a statement because I see that they think that my boy Craig and Dwayne are on drugs.
That's Cam. That's Cam, man.
Brother Outlet, how do you feel about this NFC East?
I'm just saying the Dallas Cowboys, you gotta pick them, man. Like they got the best offense. I'm saying you got Dak, you got Kenny Galladay. I mean not Kenny Galladay, you got Dak, you got
Gallup.
Yeah, Gallup, Amari Cooper, and you got Zeke there, man. Like nobody in that league, nobody in that division is messing with that. The Eagles, they got a quarterback that's Mr. Glass. He can go at any moment. And they still don't have any proven wide receivers. They was throwing to a converted quarterback last year, man. So, you know, I'm not with them. And then, you know, the Redskins, they still developing, man. You don't know what you're gonna get out of Haskins out of a full year, and they not ready. So it's Dallas, man. You know, then you add CD to that too, man. They're gonna be a problem. They're gonna be a real problem. And the Giants, I'm still not sold on Daniel Jones. And they, you know, they line, and their lines. It's Dallas, man. You got to be a fool not to pick Dallas out of there. And I'm not a Cowboys fan.
As a fan of a team in the NFC East, I will honestly be honest with y'all. This season scares me, and I'm gonna tell you why. Dallas has the potential with their talent on paper to win the Super Bowl. However, you got a lot of unprovens and a lot of question marks all over the board. In their secondary, they're in flux. Their defensive line, we're relying on 2 guys that's coming back from drug suspension. One ain't played football competitively in 3.5 years. Then at linebacker, we got one guy who's been Mr. Fragile his whole career, and another guy who's coming back from a very serious neck injury. And the other linebacker got a serious knee injury always, and he may have drop foot. If you ever seen him run, he doesn't really look like an athlete as good as he is. So even though Dallas, most people as a Cowboy fan may say we look great on paper and we loaded, our offensive line is not the same without Travis Frederick because Looney doesn't know how to get to the second level. If you look at 2 years ago when Frederick wasn't there, Dak took a beating, and this is why Dwayne said getting Andy Dalton was big for the Cowboys because they need a backup. And I know that a lot of people are high on the CD Lamb thing and feel like Dallas getting him was a luxury. But realize the Cowboys didn't score last year in 2.5 games. They didn't score a touchdown. So as good as they was offensively, they go through lulls during the season where they can't score. The Redskins, if their offense could get anywhere up to speed and that young quarterback could do anything, at minimum the Redskins might be 8-8. That front seven, that that front seven can wreak havoc on a team with a good defensive coordinator. Because Kerrigan, then you
Wait a
got
minute, Dwayne said the best pass rush in the league.
Dwayne. You got the Redskins who could be a major problem. The Giants, like I said, they're a team in flux, and then we have the Eagles. Living where I live at, I'm able to hear a lot about stuff that's going on in Philly, and right now, the quarterback is a question. The quarterback is a question within the organization, but I don't think that's Philly's biggest problem. I think Philly's biggest problem is the running game. They're not committed to running the football. And if you continue to have Carson Wentz in this spread offense where he's faking the ball to the running back, throwing it to Jeffrey's backside, or throwing it to one of the tight ends front side, this has been the same game plan for the last 3 years with the Eagles. And it was good when Foles won the Super Bowl, or good when the league wasn't up on Carson Wentz when they got out to that big season. But at the end of the day, you have to run the football. You have to put the threat of the run against somebody. So I just think the Eagles, with their failure to commit to running the football, it's going to be their downfall every year. It's going to be their downfall. So, what were you saying, Dwayne, about their pass rush, the Redskins?
I'm saying when you got Carrigan, you got Sweat, now you got Chase Young, you got Jared Allen. Like, hey man, they just bringing bodies, man. Like that Redskins defense, that front seven, man. Like people gonna be talking about that Redskins front seven this year. They're pretty scary now. Their linebackers and DBs ain't the greatest, but you know that rush coming from that front, man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Last year, both of the Alabama boys had got hurt, right?
You talk about Jonathan Allen and
And Payne.
Payne.
You don't know who's gonna win it from year to year. I mean, the Giants may be able to put it all together, and you know they got Danny Dogs, right? So if he cure his problem issue, but the Cowboys, man, like it's all about what they're gonna be able to do defensively. I think you'll see a lot of the Diggs kid at corner. You know, you guys know who my favorite corner is. That's Jordan Lewis, but there may not be a place for him in this new defense. So it sounds like Mike Nolan is going to want to do a lot of turnovers. That's something that the Cowboys defense has not done in the Rob Marinelli, Jason Garrett era when they played that Tampa 2. I'm glad to finally be rid of that bend but don't break. I'm glad that they're going to be more aggressive. And Mike McCarthy, man, he's a Super Bowl winning coach. He had the McCarthy project, so he's been watching. So, but paper don't get you nowhere, man.
Brother Walker, let me ask you a question, Brother Walker. How do you feel about Danny Dimes? One thing I noticed is that he doesn't protect the football well. How do you feel about that?
Yes, he likes to run, and he gets careless with the ball when he runs. Sometimes he runs and he has to learn how to get down quicker. That's one thing he has to do. But I will say this, he has a lot of talent. He surprised me last year. If he could just learn how to handle the ball and not turn the ball over and be smart in his decision making, has a chance to have a good career in the NFL. It's just a matter of, like you said, getting happy feet and running and then not protecting the ball. That's the biggest thing, because he fumbled the ball a lot last year. So he has to learn how to protect the ball. I think that's one of the reasons why the Giants went so heavy on building their offensive line to protect him. So maybe he doesn't have to run as much and he can get rid of the ball faster. But he has a chance, and he has Saquon. I don't know offensively, are they going to commit to the run more? I mean, like a lot of times when I watch the Giants, they go away from him sometimes, and you ask yourself why. So it's very interesting to see what they do with Danny Dimes this year, and him learning how to protect the ball. That's one of the big things for the
Now,
Giants.
now we do the fun part of the show again, the rapid fire.
Okay.
We're gonna be cautious with the rapid fire this time. We're just gonna do a couple questions.
Okay.
Mr. Outler,
Yeah.
give us the NFC Championship game.
NFC Championship game. And make y'all happy. 49ers versus the Cowboys. I think it's gonna be a retro NFC Championship game.
Where at? In what stadium?
I think it's going. I think it's going to be at Levi's.
Brother Walker, give us the AFC Championship game.
Oof. Kansas City. I'm gonna shock you with this one. Kansas City versus Buffalo.
Kansas City versus Buffalo. Woo!
Yep.
Brother Morris.
Damn.
Brother Morris. Tell me the team that was in the playoffs last year that's not going to make the playoffs this year in either conference. Houston Texans. Okay. Brother Walker, answer that question too. Who's going to be the team? What's going to be the team that's not going to make the playoffs this year?
Tennessee Titans.
Tennessee Titans. Brother Outler, team that don't make the playoffs this year.
I have to agree with the Titans.
Titans.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna pick the Eagles. I don't think the Eagles gonna go to the playoffs this year. I think that Carson Wentz thing, because I listened to something Mike Missinelli said the other day, man, and it's been some whispers in that organization. He's not taking on to the city well, and I say that to say that when they won that Super Bowl and them players got that statue of Foles, that locker room don't lie, man. That locker room don't lie. And I'm not saying Carson Wentz is a very good quarterback. I really like him. But for some reason, the organization and the city don't trust him. It's just what it is. And Howie really has not been picking good groceries lately.
Real quick, you want to know what it is? Is he gets hurt, man. He gets hurt all the time, man. So, Philly fans, they threw batteries at Santa back in the day, man. Their patience level is like it's like minute, bro. He gets hurt, man. So
Brother Morris. What team out of all the teams is going to surprise the league this year?
I'm gonna stay with my theme of the night, man. I think it's gonna be the Miami Dolphins. I think people ain't ready for what's about to happen down there on South Beach.
Brother Outlaw, who you think is going to surprise the league this year?
I think it's going to be Arizona. But I also think the Patriots are going to surprise. I mean, not the Patriots. Patriots South, Tampa Bay. They're going to surprise in a bad way, man. I think you're really going to see how old Tom Brady is this year.
Well, Brother Walker, I don't have to ask you if you got Buffalo going to the AFC Championship. They should be interested. Let me ask you guys a question. Do y'all think we're going to start the season on time?
That's a good question. It depends on how, unfortunately, with the way they're doing things, it's not like one uniform thing. Each state has, and it's up to the NFL. NFL said they're going to do it as scheduled, but let's hope and pray that everything gets to a point where they can do everything on schedule. You just don't know with this disease, so I don't know. That's a great question.
Brother Morris,
I'm going to say.
What do you think?
I couldn't hear what the other gentleman said, but I just think right now we got to stick with the plan, even though it's hard. We got to stick with this, staying at home, trying to flatten the curve. I think it's going to be a big test in the Northeast this weekend with the weather being so nice and everybody wanting to be out and about, I think the season will start on time, but I don't anticipate them playing in front of fans until November.
What about you, Mr. Aller? What you think?
I think they're gonna start on time. I just think the money, man, the money is going to force. When I say the money, the power, the powers that be are going to ensure that the season starts on time. Man, they're losing so much money. They lost a whole bunch of money by having a virtual draft. People coming out. It was supposed to be the first draft in Vegas. They lost like millions, off of that. So I think they can't afford to lose any more money, especially with the new CBA coming up, being signed. I think they're gonna start it on time. You may be surprised, man. They may start games with no fans, man, but I think they're gonna start on time.
I think the NFL season will be the first pro team sports that we're going to see in the country. You're going to see some little bit of NASCAR first or whatever. I think the NFL is going to be on time. The reason why is because of the revenue it generates for these cities and in this country. Unfortunately, the NFL actually moves religion back sometimes in certain cities across this country. So I just think it'll be back at the, like Dwayne said, one of the big things this weekend is a major test with the coronavirus. With being so hot in the Northeast. So based upon the next week or so and new cases or whatever, it's going to tell if we really have broken it. But we also got to be mindful that fall is the seasonal allergy time as well. So, depending on if they can keep, if no players catch it or whatever, or nobody in the personnel catch it, I don't think that the NFL season is going to be delayed. You guys got anything else you want to say before we wrap up for the night?
No,
Y'all want to have a
it's just
Super Bowl pick?
Oh, you want to do a Super Bowl pick? Mr. Outlet, you could do a Super Bowl pick.
Only if y'all doing it with me.
Oh, I don't pick Super Bowls.
yeah. I don't know. That's true.
All right, so we'll stay away from it then.
We're going to stay away from Dwayne. Do you have anything to say before we wrap up?
No, man, I just hope that we are able to see a season of the game that we all love. It's been tough times, man. It's been tough times in our community. It's been tough times in the United States. It's been tough times all over the world, man. And football brings me joy, man. So I'm hoping that we have a season. And, hey, man, I'm hoping I'm going to Dallas for a Super Bowl parade.
With that, we're going to close out for the night. Like Mr. Morris said, hopefully on that Tuesday in the second, third week of February, we'll be getting on an airplane out of Newark Airport to go down to the Dallas Fort Worth area to Arlington for a parade. But we shall see. Thanks to everybody that joined us via
Hey, Hope Q,
Facebook.
let me just rock one thing real quick. Coming soon, New Jersey, Dream Scouting, Central Jersey.
Sir, are you advertising?
I'm advertising.
For the people that's watching via Facebook and YouTube, I'm going to interview Mr. Outlaw. He's doing a recruiting thing and a scouting thing for the high school football players. He's starting a business that has been delayed a little bit because of the coronavirus, but it's a very interesting thing for those that got high school kids and kids not only just high school and the younger kids. This is to get them ready for the next level, as well as we're going to do another coaches show soon with Mr. Outlaw be involved, as well as Mr. Morris and Mr. Walker. Halim will be involved, Coach Ab. Hopefully we might can get Coach Cam to get involved as well, so we could discuss football going forward in the state of New Jersey and beyond. With that, everybody on Facebook and YouTube and Periscope, we're going to close out. Thanks for joining us. Have a blessed night.
Have a good night.
Sure, have a good night.